Right, we're back. I'll give you a second to come and join me back on this new post. And I'll carry on eating my yoghurt. So hi, welcome back in. Whoever's coming back in to join us. Lovely to see you again. And we're going to start this time getting crafting. Rather than live from the kitchen, we'll get live crafting. Okay. So this third release celebration items, so let's say these are things that you can find in your annual catalogue. So you can have a choice of 2 sets of the red rhinestones, so you get 2 lots of those. You can have 2 sets of the mini shipping boxes. You can have a pack of the Follow Your Art designer paper, a fat pack of the Dino designer series paper, the Woven Threads designer series paper, the shimmer detailed laser cut speciality papers. They're really pretty. That little bird is really lovely in there. Look, and that flower image. You can have a pair of Rococo Rose stamping blends. For a £90 order, you can have the Butterfly Duet Punch or the Wild Rose dies. So those are the third release celebration items, but today we're looking at second release celebration items. I'm just going to shut the door because sorry, I'm wobbling you. If Sam comes in, he might come and start chatting if the door's not shut, so let me just shut the door. Okay, let's move my phone case out the way. You don't want that, do you? I have to take my phone out of its case in order to plug the microphone in, otherwise it doesn't work very well. The things we have to do. Okay, and Glenda, welcome back. Hello Doreen, we're back. Here we are. Breathe. Now, where were we? We have a cup of tea ready to go. We have some things in front of us. Now, the stamp set that I'm going to be playing with today is this Well Dressed stamp set. It just, as soon as I saw this, it just is fabulous because it is just, you know, all those sort of male images, all those masculine images that you can use for those mail cards that are so difficult. And I just love the detail. So you've got your nice big man's brolly, you've got this watch and your pen and your sort of collar and tire tracks. Look at these little keys, aren't they adorable? I love those little keys. Got some nice fancy shoes and a nice hat there. So a whole load of lovely things. So of course in the mini catalogue we have the Dressed to Impress, which was shoes and perfumes and lipsticks and flowers and all of those things that you can use for your unashamedly girly cards. This is the stamp set. Morning again, Valerie. This is the stamp set that you can use for your unashamedly male cards. Sorry, I just had a thing pop up to say that there's been a risky connection blocked. I don't know who that was. We don't want risky connections on our laptop, do we? So yeah, this is for our unashamedly male cards. And one of the packs of paper that would be really good to use with this set is this Country Club Designer Series paper pack. And so this has got, although it's got lots of golfing images, even if you're not into golf, it has some really lovely packed papers that would be fabulous to use. That grey check. Be lovely to use with this stamp set. Having said all that, we're not going to be using that with this stamp set this morning. I'm going to pop that down. I might use that for my, I've been sending out a project today via my newsletter this week. We've had 2 go out. There'll be a third one going out today so today's will be using this Well Dressed stamp set. I might use those papers with that one, but we're not going to be using it today. I've got a whole host of coloured card in front of me, and I've just realised what I've done on something. I'm just going to swap that over, and I've got some ink and I've got some embossing powders. I've got all sorts of things going on the desk in front of me. Let me just swap that out, because what I thought we would do is we would have another play with the idea of a one sheet wonder, only this time we're going to stamp our own. I've got everything going on this morning. I've just put up a challenge on my customer group page. So if you're one of my customers, if you shop with me or you come to my classes, if you're not a part of that page, then do shout out and I will add you in. Well, hopefully I've got everybody added in there that will certainly invited that would like to come along. But we've just put up a challenge to make a card together, so people are shouting out ideas for colours of card and ink and what sort of stamp set we should use and what sort of embellishments. So I've got things building up, getting ready for that, as well as things for this set. But for this set, we've got in front of me, I've got some Early Espresso, Grey Granite, Soft Suede, Merry Merlot, Night of Navy, some Mossy Meadow, and I've got some gold foil there, because those are all the things that we're going to be able to hopefully call on as we go along. And I've got a piece of shimmery white cardstock here. And I've got our stamp set. So all of my ink pads have got a little post-it note on them with what I think I'm going to use them for. So let me grab my block. So I've got those to one side. And what I thought is we would do an A4 size. Obviously, if you're elsewhere in the world, you could do a letter size sheet of card, and we're going to cover it with stamps. We're going to make our own background paper. Now this is always very random, and as you can see, I've not even used these stamps yet, so I very definitely haven't got one. Here's one I've done earlier, because I haven't even used the stamps. But we're going to see what happens with this. So let's take, to start with, our tie, and let's put our backing on it. So we'll put our sticky on the back of our stamp. So line that up on there, peel it off, stick it to our block. Okay, and I think the shirt and tie I decided I was going to do in Night of Navy. So let's ink that up. That ink pad could do with re-inking by the look of it, but never mind. Just stamping it randomly. This ink pad could definitely do with re-inking, but stamping it randomly all over this background. I'm going to have a bit of a tie poking in there, and bit of a tie poking in there, and we'll have a bit of a collar coming off there. So there we are, we've stamped shirts and ties randomly all over that background. Wondering if I want to drag some colour out on the collars, but I think I'm going to leave it for now. So that's our shirt and tie. Let's get that cleaned up. Keep dropping the mic on the floor. Okay, let's get that one cleaned up. I've got my Simply Chamois. Then we'll go on to our umbrella, I think. need to take the sticky off the back of our umbrella and the backing off the stamp. That wasn't quite central, but let's give it a bit of a squeeze over. I think we're okay. Okay, so we have our umbrella. And our umbrella we're going to do in Mossy Meadow. Oh, so I've gone with all these sort of quite, is subdued the word we're looking for, but the sort of more earthy, sort of natural tones. So quite a few of these are from the neutral selection. Not all, some of them are I don't know, actually I think they are all from the neutral. I think, oh, I managed to get blue splodges on there. So they are all from the neutral selection. Now the nice thing about doing this is you just sort of fill in, it really is very random, filling in where you've got gaps. And then you might find that as you go on that you want to go in and fill in other things elsewhere, or you might want a bit of something else, but you can do that. So there is our shirts and our umbrellas. Let's give that a clean. Also going to give this mat a bit of a clean for a minute because I'm picking up smudges from there. So shirts, umbrellas, what else have we got? Let's go with our shoes, and I thought we'd go Merry Merlot for the shoes. Merry Merlot is one of those colours that I've not used an awful lot. It is a lovely colour. So let's grab our shoe. We'll, using my head's in the way, stick that on there. We can have a slightly smaller block for this one. And we'll randomly have some shoes coming across there. Have one up here, one there. We'll have one coming down there. Need a bit of something that side, I think. So you're just trying all the time to see if you've got a bit of balance. It's never going to be perfect because you're not using sort of like the computer generated graphic design programs that they're using when they're able to design our papers. They'll take sort of stamp a square and replicate it across the paper, so you're not able to do that. So it is a bit more random, but it's quite fun. So let's have let's clean that up, and then let's go for our hat. I think is the next biggest thing. You want to go with your bigger stamps first because they're the ones that you want to be able to ensure you can fit in, and then you can fill in the gaps with the little ones. Obviously I've done this on shimmery white, and the reason I did it on shimmery white was then if I wanted to go, because I didn't know how it was going to go, if I wanted to go and drag any colour out with a blender pen or a water brush, I would be able to, because the card would take it. Right, we're going to go soft suede with the hat. And we're now getting to the point where we're squeezing things in gaps. We could do with one coming in here somewhere. Can we squeeze one in there? Yes, we can. Let's have a little bit of one there. Just wondering if we can sneak one. Yes, we can just sneak one in there. Okay, we'll leave that for now. We might come back to hats. Next we'll do watches. And our watch I was going to do in early espresso. Hi Angie. So we're having fun this morning with this Well Dressed set, and we're making our own background paper. Now this watch is quite nice because it's sort of long and thin. Fabulous detail on it. I think it's 10:15 according to the watch. Yeah, we will go with one there. I've got a watch up there. Let's have one here. Here. In there. We'll have one going in there. We'll see. We might go in with others, say. We might come back and fill in with others. We will see. But there's our watch. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the pen. Ooh, that's not what you want to do, because it's very sticky. Once it's down, it's down. Right, now what I'm going to do with the pen is I am going to take my embossing buddy, and I'm going to rub that all over the top, because obviously some of this ink is still going to be damp, because obviously this is a man of some distinction, so he's going to have a gold pen. So let's grab the Versamark. Now this is where you need to do some at a time, because you need to see where you're going. So I'm going to put some pens down here, because obviously you stamp them on and they're not very visible, and although they stay wet for a little while, you don't want to leave it too long before you add on your powder. So let's add on some gold powder down there. You and it is a question of sprinkling it on and seeing where it is. I think there's some there, some up there somewhere. Let's just sprinkle that on. Now, it looks like I might need a bit of a paintbrush to Brush some excess off just there. Oh, not that much excess, Helen. And I think we want a bit more just there. Obviously I need to be careful with that stamp because it's over stamping on one side. There's more just here. Oh, and this one down the bottom needs some more on him. And then again, he's over stamped on that side. I need to have a look at that stamp, see why he's over stamping on that side. Might just be rocking a little bit as I'm stamping it. Okay, so let's heat that up, otherwise we should knock those off. Oh, every one of those is over stamped on that side, so I need to have a look at that. I'll heat this up. We've got one there, and obviously this will then make those pop a little bit. So at the moment they're sort of blending in with the soft suede, but as we heat it and it turns gold, it will just give our paper a bit of sense of a foiled paper, not just any old paper. This is a foiled one. What else have we got? We've got one there. And one there. And obviously as the heat gun heats up, they turn quicker. So let's put in a few more. I'm going to give that a wipe. Can't see any obvious reason why it's over stamping on one side, but we'll give it all a wipe. And try very carefully not to rock the stamp as we stamp it. Let's put one there. Let's have one there. And if we sneak one in there, one coming down here. I have got one more stamp to do. I've got my keys that I can use to fill in some more gaps. Ooh, didn't put my... I love doing these, Angie. You can do these with so many stamp sets. Right, let's sprinkle on some powder. Let's see where those... Oh, it's still catching on that one side. It's almost, when you put the powder down to start with, it's almost about picking out where you've put them, because obviously by the time you come to put the powder on, you've forgotten. And then you can go in and fill in a bit more. Where's that little paintbrush gone? It's here on the floor, that's why I can't see it on the table. It's knocked onto the floor. Let's put a bit more powder on there. Thank goodness for paintbrushes. Right, let's turn that over and flick off any excess, and then we'll give that a heat. And embossed, you're embossed. If I've got any, I'm just trying to catch the light so that I can see that they're all shiny. Yep, I think there's one sort of obvious place that's missing a bit of gold, and that's up in this top corner. So let's have this pen just sticking out that way, and then possibly another one in there. And ooh, that looks like I have got one there. Have I just not caught it with the powder? Yeah, it's there, it's just not been powdered. Okay, where did I do those other ones now? It was up here somewhere. There was another one down here somewhere. Any more for any more? Right, okay, let's just attack these ones. So that's that one there. That one there. This one here. And let's heat those, and then I think that'll be enough pens for now. You can also, when you cut this up and make it into cards, you can also go in then if you think that there's any obvious gaps and fill in some more. It is amazing, I have to say, how many stamps it'll take, and how you can keep on thinking, oh, there's still a gap there, and there's still a gap there, and there's still a gap there. Right, last but not least, we're going to come in with the little keys, which are so cute, and we're just going to do those in grey granite. Let me find the little A block, because they are tiny. And let's put them on their sticker. And this is where we can really fill in any little gaps. We can have keys everywhere. Anyway, you think there's a bit of a gap, just pop some keys. Now, doing a great big sheet like this, you're bound to get little imperfections, things that didn't quite stamp right, all of those sorts of things. But we're going to cut it up in a minute and use it for different cards and things. So you can always choose where to put a greeting sentiment, a bit of an embellishment. Right, I think for now that will do. So we have a whole sheet now that we've used all of those colours, and I've got all of the colour card on standby because we've got to decide now what we're going to do with it. So let me pop those stamps back in there. Let me just give this a good shake, get rid of any excess. So hopefully you can pick that gold foil up shining in there, so it just gives your paper a bit more interest. I'm going to pop that to one side for a minute and give this glass mat a wipe because it is covered in little bits of embossing powder and stamped images. Let's just clean that off a bit. So we're starting from a blank. Now, I sat down this morning and I worked out a grid, and yes, absolutely, you're doing a bit of loving it and chopping it, have you, Angie, and you're making cards. Excellent. Right, and obviously you can do this, you can take a bit of paper. Now this is obviously the sizings and things on this is for A4 card, so if you are using letter size you would have to tweak it, but you can tweak it with the general idea. So these pieces here, A and B, so A, B, C, D and E are all cards that I'm going to make with this. I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards with this. You can make it more, you can cut these down, you could cut one diagonally corner to corner and do something with that. But I kept this fairly simple. So this is A4, but obviously you'd just, these are basic card mats that you'd put on a card, so not your card front but the top mat. So that obviously leaves you a bit of a strip there. This is another, so this one here is the same size as those ones, and obviously that gives you a strip down the bottom, and the strip that's left I've divided in half. So that's how I created it. I will post a picture of that up on my Facebook page when I've finished, along with the cards, so that you'll be able to pinch that if you like. I'm more than happy for you to pinch it, share it. I have stamped on it so that you can see that's where it came from. So we have now our piece of card. So we have created this. This is our card. Nobody else is going to have cards like this because nobody else is going to have created it. And even if you go away now and do exactly the same thing, yours is not going to be the same as mine because you're going to put things in different places. You might have added in more stamps. You might have used different colours. So let's cut this as I have done that grid. So I started off by cutting a strip that was 14.4 centimetres. And then I cut that so it was 2 lots of 14.4 by 10. So that is 2 sort of complete card fronts. So you could do just those, you could have those just with the greeting almost, you're ready to go. Fabulous. We'll have a look what we're going to do there. We've also got a little centimetre strip there, so we're not going to waste that, we're going to hang on to that. So our next, so this piece of A4 that was left, I cut it this way at 14.4. And then this bit here, I cut so that this one measured 10 centimetres. So obviously this is now the same size as those, it's just a different orientation. And then we've got this strip here that we're going to be able to use. And then this bit that's left, I actually cut at 4 centimetres, and then that left a 2.6 centimetre strip, and I shall probably trim those down because my thoughts were I could use that along with that strip to create a sort of panelled card. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards there, and it really just is a question of how we want to put them together and create with them. So I'm going to take this piece of Merry Merlot card, I think. So I really am on the hoof here, ladies. Let's cut that in half at 10.5 centimetres. I'm going to make a side opening card for this one. Still no score blades, so I've got to bring in my old trimmer. And I'm going to score this. So if you're doing a side opening card like that, you cut it in half lengthways and then score it at 14.9, whereas normally we cut it at 14.9 and score it at 10.5. You do it the opposite way round if you want a side opening card like that. So there's a Merry Merlot card with one of those on the top, and we'll have a think about what else we're going to put on that in a minute. Let's have, this is a Mossy Meadow piece of card that I need to trim down to 14.9, and then I shall just score it at 10.5. And then I'm thinking I'm going to take a bit of Night of Navy, and I'm going to cut this. So I might need to trim some of those strips down in a minute. I'm going to cut this so that it is 14.4 by 10, so that can sit on there. And then I'm going to cut these 3 strips so that they are all 13.9, I think. Let's see if we can rest them on top of each other. Come up to 13.9. So I'm going to cut through all 3. It is magic. Okay, so then we've got 3 strips that can come across here like this. I'm actually going to put that little strip, I think. No, I'm not. I'm going to put those 2 like that. I'm going to put it this side. It's just that that pattern is different than those. So that pattern sort of follows on. Or we could go the other way, then they're all random. That's better. There, we'll be able to do something like that with that one. So we've got a Merry Merlot, we've got some Mossy Meadow and Night of Navy. Let's cut a early espresso background. That's early espresso. And then what haven't we had? Is grey granite going to be too... No, actually I think it gives a different sort of a feel to it. Let's go grey granite. Right, let's just... Oh, we've got one more. So that can be grey granite. And then, last but not least, let's go soft suede. And that one will be a bit of a, might need to have another colour in there. Now then, what did I say that was? It measures 5.4. So let's go 5.9. We can have that coming as a strip across there. Right, so we've created our background paper. We have got a layout for 5 different cards there. I think we need a slurp of tea while we think about where we're going next. Now obviously we could well want some threads and things. I'm thinking that the obviously the linen thread would go quite well. There is some of the Night of Navy thread that goes with the again with that golfing set. That's bundles of threads that comes with that. We've got there's some grey granite ribbon there that we might be able to use. These are all just suggestions at the moment. We may not go on to use them all. It just is sort of picking out some bits that we can use. This one might possibly be fun. Got a bit of braided. Obviously we could use some of the burlap trim. Okay, I think that covers most of those colours for now. Just thinking, yesterday I had out the braided burlap trim for the card that we created last night. I'm just wondering where that's gone. Must be in a safe place somewhere. But we've got some ideas here. We've got some different ribbons and things we could be using. And obviously we can always use that white ribbon and colour it with some stamping blends. That is always an option. I'm going to just pop my blocks out the way for a moment. Give myself a little bit more room to move. I think I can pop that out. Right, let's start. Let's start with that. Obviously we could also do with some sort of tag punches and things. They might be useful. Just grab a handful of those. I'm going to get my snail, and I think we'll go with this one first. So what I'm going to do first is, using my snail, I'm going to stick these panels down. Now, let's move there. They obviously want a slightly bigger gap. The one thing about snail is, unless you until you really press it down, you do have a bit of wiggle time. That's better. Picked up the sellotape on the back of that one from the twine. I wonder what that sticky bit was sticking out the side. Let's get rid of that. Okay, and then I'm thinking I'm going to I think we'll have a tag, And somewhere I stamped some, I got some white card, so we'll stamp one out with white. Actually, no, we won't stamp it out with white. The other thing I did grab is some oddments of shimmery white. We'll do it out of shimmery white because then it will match the background. We need some sort of a greeting. Let's have Here's to Celebrating You from the Perennial Birthday set. And we'll stamp that in Night of Navy. That wasn't what we wanted to do. And I need to give myself a note. I need to leave that Night of Navy out and re-ink it. Okay, and let's get some snips. Snip that in half. So having created all your papers, all your hard work is in your paper, so your sentiments and things can be really quite simple from here on in. And that's the same if you were creating something like this with a piece of designer series paper as well. You can be relatively simple with your sentiments. I'm actually going to grab a little bit of Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to do a second border in Mossy Meadow just because otherwise we're not bringing that in. So let's do exactly the same again and stick a second border in Mossy Meadow. That just brings in that colour then. Now I'm just wondering whether I want to tie some twine round it. I think I'm actually going to wrap it round a few times, so I'm going to stick it on the back, but I'm actually going to wrap it round about 3 times and then stick it. Get some tear and tape. And stick that down there. Snip that off. Yep, like that. Let's have some dimensionals on the back of here to stick it on, because this thread is quite a thick thread. There we are, and we'll put some dimensionals on the back here as well. Let's find some edge pieces, I think, rather than lots of little bits on there. Somebody's having fun outside. Of course, all the children are home. They're all being homeschooled, and I said the children of key workers, healthcare workers and things, in which case the schools are still offering them somewhere to go. Because of course what we don't want is children not being at school but going to stay with elderly relatives instead. So prevent that from happening. the schools have stayed open for key workers. A lot of schooling is being done online, but that does mean there's a lot of children out there sort of playing in the garden, and particularly we've had some nice sunny days these last few days. I don't think that's set to last, but at least that helps to keep people's morale up. Right, take those backings off there. I'm not necessarily going to make you watch me make all of these up. It just is about sort of giving you the general idea, but I will post when I've finished my finished cards. So there's that one. Let's do one more, and then I will let you get on with your day and perhaps go and create a one-sheet wonder of your own. As I say, I will post the picture of the grid that I used. And for that one, let's not got much of this one left. No, I think I'm going to stick that straight down to there. And then quite like the idea of this, possibly this bigger punch. Have we got some more early espresso somewhere? Yep. I think we might do the same again. Let's have some soft suede and a bit of a random piece of shimmery white. And we will stamp that. Right, for this one, let's go very random and let's have I Miss Your Face. There's a good card to be sending out to somebody at the moment, because there's lots of faces we're missing seeing. So let's grab our early espresso ink. And do we want it that way or that way? That way, I think. Let's ink up that. Let's get our mat, pop that underneath. Let's swing it over because I've just put a mucky mark on that. I Miss Your Face. So we need to cut it in half that way and cut that one in half that way. And then so we'll start with the soft suede. And then we'll add in a little bit wonky. Add in some early espresso. Now actually I'm not going to attempt to stamp the I was just thinking there is a stamp that would have given me a stitch line. I'm not going to attempt to stamp it at the moment. Let me just grab the Early Espresso marker. And we'll do a faux stitched outline round there. There we are. And I think we'll just have, that's a better colour match, that brown. Let's snip that off. And we'll attach that down. Let's put a couple of strips of double-sided tape on there. Take them off. I miss your face. Snip, snip, and stick, stick. And we'll stick those down. Thank you, Valerie. I do like doing these. We do these as a class quite regularly. We normally do 12 by 12 ones, and we use all different sorts of stamp sets and things. In the past, we always do a Christmas. We tend to do a Christmas one and then one earlier in the year with something else. So we've done lots of different one sheet wonders. They're good fun, and I've got one coming up hopefully. I'm just working out the details. Hopefully I'll try and get that up either today or tomorrow. We'll try and do an online poppy one sheet wonder. That class was due to happen next week, so it's obviously not happening in person, but it would be nice to be able to transfer that over to an online class. So I will carry on and finish off these other ones, and then I will post what I've done with them. But obviously you've got your basics there, you've got your card base, and you've got your sizings to cut that out, as I say. And I will post a picture of this so that you can pick up all the measurements on that as well. Save it, whatever you like. And I may well put some other bits onto that one as well. It needs a bit more embellishment, I think. But I've probably kept you long enough, ladies, this morning, but hopefully that has given you a bit of an idea to go away and find your stamp sets. Those stamp sets that have got sort of lots of different sized, whether it's flowers or butterflies or whatever it is, shapes, it can be anything. children's ones, the dinosaurs, that would be fun. Make your own dinosaur paper. Yeah, have a go at making some one sheet wonders. So start just by playing with colours and your different stamps, creating your own background papers, and then decide how you're going to cut them up. And if you want ideas for grids and things, if you go onto Pinterest and look up one sheet wonder grids, you'll find lots of different ones on there, whether it's for 6x6 or whether it's for, like we're doing, sort of letter size, A4 size, or whether it's 12x12s. You'll find them all there. So do enjoy, do have a play, and we will be back tomorrow. Hopefully I won't be live in the kitchen finishing off my dinner, but we'll be back tomorrow and we'll have a bit more play with some other things. So enjoy.